Hey team, I'm here with a special guest today. Alice is the executive director for Uncles and Aunts at Large, and we've had a lot of you asking about different charities in need, especially at this time of year, but the need is all year round. But Uncles and Aunts at Large is one that's very close to my heart personally. It's a local organization. I actually volunteered with them back in the beginning, kind of end of university. We found Uncles and Aunts because we were looking as a group of guys, young guys that were friends of mine. We wanted to volunteer to help troubled youth, and we reached out to uncles, and they were open to doing like group mentorship, which they've since gone on and done a lot more of. So I volunteered there with a group of friends for I think 6 or so years, and that group kind of continued on after, which was pretty cool. But they're a local organization that helps single parent families, at risk, young people. And so they definitely have needs right now with everything going on in the world. So wanted to introduce Alice and let us know a little more about Uncles and how we can help.
Uncles and Aunts at Large has been in the community for over 50 years. We've matched over 8,000 children. So there's been a lot of mentors. Now some of their own children are coming into the program. We have the privilege of doing mentoring with a second and third generation. So that's pretty special. There are many charities in Edmonton that have a need, but I'll let you know about our need at Uncles. We're finding that from we were working frontline, now we're moving online. So we're having our programs and many of our connections with our families when it's possible online. Also, we're reaching out and we're finding that there's a great need for food, dry goods. I'll give you just a few examples. It would be lentils and sugar and flour, canned goods, cereal, baking products, rice, pasta sauce, any items that's in the dry goods that we can distribute to some of the families that are in great need. One of our families that phoned in this week didn't have the resources to take a bus to come and pick up a small little hamper. We weren't really in the doing hampers in the past, but we've had some wonderful donations from people similar to John Carter that with his volunteering at Uncles, and we've become aware that there are people in the community that may want to share what they can spare, so to speak. And in that case, we're able to make up little hampers at this time of the year. On a note, we normally have an annual children's Christmas party. This year we've had to cancel it, and we usually have over 200 children that attend. So this year, we're having to reach out to try and make, a celebration, whether it's Christmas, a family celebration, we're reaching out. So with our little hampers, we'd be able to spread our wings in the community of Uncles and Aunts at Large.
It's wonderful. And I mean, you've been part of the organization for, what is it now, 36 years?
Well, I've been here a very long time, a lifetime. Somebody told me yesterday, a lifetime. I have. And
I know everybody on the board always brings it up, and I agree with the sentiment that you're absolutely an inspiration to everybody because you bring that passion and you really genuinely care about every single family. And I think what brings it home is like those couple of little examples you shared even before we started the video today, like the father with MS or the recent match of a former child in the organization who's now also mentoring a young person. So maybe you want to share those two stories?
Yes, I will. We have a family that's very isolated where the dad has MS and is in a wheelchair and needs a lot of help, has 4 children. So once a month, we help out with a little hamper and a visit and find out how the children are doing. And the children are part of our program. We have mentors for the children. And that's a happy story because he looks forward to our visit and we look forward to seeing him and finding out how everybody's doing. Also, the other example would be 10 years, well, it's over 10 years now. It would be 20 years ago. I did a match for a young man that worked for the provincial government who's now retired and has 4 sons, and one of them was matched yesterday to a young boy that lost his dad And it's a happy story. It's a story where a young dad now has 4 grown sons, and one of his sons is becoming involved in our program in the same way that his dad. So the mentoring continues in another generation. And that's what keeps me here. Those stories are part of people's lives, and they're also part of the work that we do, that we're able to see that many years after we've nurtured a generation or two that keep giving. And
And I know when we talked before too, like I was just out of university when I'd volunteered, and then now kind of looped back around and volunteering, being on the board and whatnot. But I love seeing some of those stories. I remember when we did our group volunteering, that probably the first year I felt a little bit like I wasn't sure what impact we were really having. Like we were spending regular time with the young boys and like doing group activities twice a month. But then the feedback that you guys gave and learning about how the organization worked and all the data you collect on it, to hear that they were like doing better in school, not getting in fights, like not getting along better with their parents. And I thought all we're doing is spending time with them. But to me, it was that they got exposure to a different paradigm, a different option, to know that there's different choices and life choices out there than maybe what they're necessarily surrounded with day to day. And so, yeah, I think you guys do amazing work just to provide that, catalyst that is what's needed potentially for someone to choose a different life or find opportunity. And then the testament is stories like that, where they now have their own families. They used to be a mentor, and now they are themselves. Even the gentleman that's on the board, that he used to be a child,
former nephew, right?
a former nephew in the program. It's just incredible. He's got his own family now, and then he's sitting on volunteering on the board as well and helping raise funds and awareness and everything. Is just amazing. So what I love about Uncles is that it's local, so we know that any of this stuff that we can do, that we can bring to uncles and aunts and the families that they help, stays in Edmonton and helping those local families. So yeah, wonderful.
Well, those caring moments, John, that you gave to the young boys group that you were involved with, those moments, they continue. And, the youth and the children remember and, felt that it was a special time. So now that we're doing some of the online mentoring, 2 weeks ago, we did a treasure hunt. So online. So they had to go in their homes and find all different kinds of items. And it was a way to connect, but it was a fun way to connect. So because there is a pause with COVID, I think we're still fulfilling a great need with our families and our youth and our children.
And a lot of those families are the ones, nearer the poverty line, if not below the poverty line in a lot of cases. And so
many are. Yep.
Yeah,
many are struggling in many different ways.
Put even more pressure on them, right?
Right.
Well, thank you for everything you do, and we will do our best to support you this year, and I'll continue to always do it myself as well. It's one of those organizations that I want to be able to follow in the footsteps of what many other, donors and stuff have done in the past. I mean, even the house that you guys are in was donated by a former Progressian, I think, Canadian Progress Club member. So that kind of support helps you guys do the work that you do, which is amazing. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you, John. We do the work that we do because you care and other members of the community care. Your involvement on the board, in the group, and your support means a lot. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks, John.